Hello, everyone. This is the Soulful Stitcher, otherwise known as Melanie, or Melanie, otherwise known as the Soulful Stitcher, and coming to you with my 22nd video, Flosstube video. And I want to start off by saying, thank you to all my returning subscribers, and welcome to anybody who is new. Um, it's just great to have so much support, even though I don't make a ton of videos every month or make a video every month. It's just really wonderful to still have that support. So I want to thank all of you for being here and watching my Flosstube video. So with giving out thanks, there is several people that I need to thank because they have shared me on their Flosstube video. They have talked about my group, which is Soulful Stitching on Facebook. They have talked about the other group, which is Cross Stitch 25/7, and they have drawn awareness to my event called the Year of WIPs that's going down January 18th, 2023. So I want to, give a shout out and thank Carolyn Zook. Thank you so much, Carolyn. You have week after week just, given me a shout out, drew attention to my groups and my events. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. You didn't have to do that. So thank you. Robin's Bird's Eye Stitcher as well. Georgia Girl Stitching, thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to you being a part of the Year of WIPs. I know this is going to be new for you. So, welcome, and I hope you enjoy yourself. And Flossabilities, she also gave me a shout out. Candy, the 614 Stitcher, she has given me a shout out and drew attention to my groups and my events. Mary, the Daydream Stitcher, she also has given me a shout out and talked about my events and groups as well. And then last, I want to give a shout out to Janet Jabber. Thank you guys so much. You didn't have to do that, like I said earlier. So I appreciate you just taking a moment throughout your video and, just drawing awareness to who I am and what I'm doing. So, thank you guys so much. So let's get into the reason why you guys are here, which is stitching. So you will not believe it. You are going to fall out of your chair. Some of you may even clutch your pearls. I have not one finish, but I have two finishes and I have one on the way to being a finish. So by December 31st, your girl will have 3 finishes all together. I know. So let me show you what those are. So back in October, I completed, it is called It's Halloween by Foxwood Crossings. And this is done on an 18 count Ada, hand dyed by me. And it is done in Weeks Dye Works Onyx. So and here we go. And sorry guys, none of my stuff is iron, but you'll be okay. So here we go. We got It's Halloween completed and done. Next up, the next finish that I have, and the other thing, I want to just draw awareness to is that you guys are going to hear some zippering. So I apologize to those of you who are wearing earbuds, but I didn't unzip before I got the video started. So I apologize if it's loud. So next up, my next finish is Village Sampler by the Prairie Schooler. I had absolutely so much fun stitching this one. I really did. I mean, it was like once I cracked it open, I could not stop. And I'm stitching this on 18 count country vintage mocha. Okay? And I used the called for DMC. And that's that one. Okay. And since the third one is not completed yet, you will see that one later in the video. Okay. So those are my two finishes. So now let's talk about my plans for 2023. Okay? What I am doing is I am taking, and for the Year of WIPs, which the Year of WIPs is an event, and I know a lot of you have tuned in to get the details on that, and the details will come at the end. So stay tuned for that. But let's talk about my plans for 2023. What I have decided to do, and this is for my Year of WIPs, I have decided I'm going to do 18 projects, which represents January 18th, my birthday, and I am going to finish 9 of those projects. So what I have in my head, the way I did the math, was I am going to be able to take those 18 projects and stitch on them for 18 days. And that will give me a total of 324 days that I've stitched for the year of 2023. When you break that down, those 18 days, that's really like 2 weeks and 4 days. So I am going to take 9 of those projects and use that 2 weeks and 4 days to get to the finish line, to get my 9 finishes. So how I'm going to do that is I've got my trusty Amazon planner for 2 years. So of course I'm going to take my planner, which just simply looks like this. This is how it looks. It's just the month. And then you have some note sheets. And then it moves on to the next month. So just simple, easy peasy for me. And what that will allow me to do is, again, like I was saying, let me gather my thoughts. 324 days altogether of stitching through the year of 2023. That will give or take, right? Because, not every day is a stitch day. And that doesn't do anything as far as how much time I will be able to put into each project. But I look at it like I get off of work at 5:30. By the time I let my dogs out, feed my dogs, and take a shower, it's about 6:15, and I can settle down to stitch till about 11:30. So that will allow me about 4 or 5 hours, Monday through Thursday, to stitch, and then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday I can stitch as much as I want. So I will also use events such as the magazine monthly challenge of cross stick, the 24 hours of cross stitch, 12 by 12 NYE event that's coming up. And, you know, just the normal stuff that we have going on. The 13th day of the month is Darktober stitching. The 25th of the month is for Christmas stitching. The 4th day of the month is for something patriotic. So I will use all of those different things throughout the year also to get me across the finish line. And any other events that may come up, such as Mania, but I do WIP Mania, and you know, Christmas in July, yada yada yada. So I am going to go ahead and show you 15, or no, 14 of my 18 starts, because 4 of my projects are going to come in my haul portion. So let me show you what my 14 of my 18 projects are. And they're in no particular order. So, first up, we have Snow Village by Country Cottage Sampler. Oh my goodness. Melanie, what in the world is going on today, girl? Country Cottage Needleworks, okay? And this is what it looks like when you get finished. But I have all 9 charts, or yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have all 11 charts. But I just printed this out because this is number 1, but it's the banner that goes in the middle. And I am a top left corner stitcher. So I needed to see the flow of how it's supposed to go. And I'm doing this on 16 count. It's a 16 count fabric. I do not remember what the name of it is. I think it's like Willow or something like that. And this is where I am at. And I am using the called for DMC and Classic Colorworks. So I have finished scene 1, and I'm moving on to scene 2, which is the Peppermint Parlor. Okay? So that is project 1. Now, with these country cottage stitching series, Country Cottage Needleworks series, Snow Village, Glitter Village, Santa's Village. I know I'm not going to complete all 11 or 12 within 2023. So those are just basically get as far as I can get within the 2 weeks and 4 days. Next up is All Woman by Love Thy Thread. And this is where it looks like. This is what it looks like. I should say what she looks like. And I'm doing this on a 28 count. Hand-dyed fabric by me. And this is where I'm at. I have finished her. I just now need to do her sweater. Part of her blouse, I mean. And this is my oldest WIP. This is from 2014, guys. This is almost 10 years old. And I was watching Amy the Gable Stitcher, and she said something that I thought was pretty cool. She said, you know, she has something called legacy WIPs. And what is legacy WIPs? Legacy WIPs is any WIP that she has that is 10 years old or maybe older. And that's what she calls her legacy WIPs. And so I'm going to use that from her. I'm going to copy that. Any WIP that I have that is 10 years or older is going to be considered a legacy WIP for me. Next up is Cherry Hollow Farm Sampler by Stacy Nash Primitives. And I am doing this on a 40 count. What is this? 40 count latte. Okay. And this is where I am at. And I am using the called for threads. And that's as far as I have gotten. And let me see here. As I go along and I'm showing you the WIPs, I'm going to also tell you which ones are going to be considered the 9 finishes. And I believe, let me see here. No, that's not one. Oh, and I forgot to tell you guys something else about my 18 WIPs. What I did was created a chart for each WIP, and I will go in and fill in the date for the 18 days that I have stitched. And I know you're thinking, well, you know, first of all, that's old and primitive. Why didn't you do Excel? Me and Excel don't get along. And 2, I'm old school. I have to write stuff down and see it on paper for myself. And 2, as far as that graph is concerned, or chart is concerned, excuse me, I can take a look at each WIP instead of flipping through a calendar and counting and making all of these, 18 projects listed in this little tiny calendar space. I can pull out the sheet for each one and see, clearly, oh, okay, I've stitched only 9 days on this and I still have 9 more days to go. So it's easier for me to take a look at a chart like that and do it that way. And then when I get finished, those 18 days, I can, go back if I have enough room in my planner and fill in the days that I stitched, the Little House Neighborhood or whatever else. Okay, so I had just shown you Cherry Hollow Farm by Stacy Nash on 40 count latte, and we're using all of the called for Weeks Dye Works. Okay. Next up is another oldie but goodie. And I have had this one probably since 2000, let me see, maybe 2015. So this one is getting up there too. And this one, I definitely need to get a finish on this one. This one has been hanging out kind of like all woman. And I just need to get it done and stop messing around, for real. And this is called Song of the Seasons by Little House Needleworks. And it was a mystery sampler. And she released each part in 2013. Yeah, she released each part. And when I came along, though, all 3 were already released. And this is how far I've gotten on it. And I'm just doing it on a 40 count antique white. And this is where I'm at. Okay. And I'm using the called for Weeks Dye Works. All right. And that is going to be one of the 9 finishes. All Woman and Song of the Seasons is going to be one of the 9 finishes. So that's 2. Next up We have the infamous Winter Rose Manor by Brenda Gervais. And I am stitching this on a mystery linen. I'm not sure if it's 40 count or 46 count. Okay. And I am using the Vicky Clayton hand-dyed silk pack for this. Let me see. Can you see that better that way? Okay. So I've outlined the house, did the fence where I made a mistake. So I've got the little motifs. I've done all of the border. Okay. And that is going to be one of the 9 finishes. So that's 3. Next, we have Little House Neighborhood by Little House Needleworks. And let me check, see. No, that's not one of the finishes. Okay, and this is where I'm at. That's what I've gotten done so far. So this is another one that's going to be, you know, get as far as I can get. Because this is a pretty big chart. Okay. Next is the infamous One Nation by Bygone Stitches. And I'm using a substitute of Weeks Dye Works because the when I went to kit this up, the called for was out of stock. So I am using Navy Weeks Dye Works, Louisiana Hot Sauce, and Anchor White. And this is where I am. I've gotten some of the borders for the stars done, and I've gotten the first row of states done. And I am doing this on 40 count Vintage Country Mocha. Okay. Next. We have Garden Vegetable by Kathy Barrick. And I am doing this, I believe, on a 46 count linen. And this is where I am at. Okay. Next, this comes out of the Blackbird Designs book, Honeysuckle Manor. And it is Margaret Harris, 1877. And it looks like this. And I am doing this on, let me see what I got here. Another mystery linen, which I believe is 46 count raw. And this is where I'm at. And I'm using the called for Belsois silks. And this is going to be one of the 9 finishes. So as you can see, I don't have that much left to do. I have a little bit to do here, finish this tree, and then finish the border, and I'm done. And I have to put everything back as I pull it out because it'll be a great big mess at the end if I don't. Okay, another oldie but goodie that really needs to get finished. That's one of the 9 finishes. And that is the infamous Lantern Lane by Little House Needleworks. And I am using the called for Belsois silks. And I'm doing this on a piece of 40 count. And I don't know. And this is where I'm at. And this is one of the 9 finishes. Because this has been hanging out for a long time too. The chart came out in 2014. So this is almost a legacy WIP. Next up is the wonderful, where are you at? Fall on the Farm series by Little House Needleworks. And I am doing this on 40 count Country Vintage Mocha. And I'm using the called for colors. The called for threads. And this is as far as I've gotten. I've gotten the first block done. And I'm working on the second one. And I've filled in, not filled in, but I have finished the frame for the first 3 ones. The first 3. And again, that is one, you know, just get as much done as you can. Because I believe there's 8 or 9. And with all the other projects that I have, I'm not going to be able to finish a series in a year. So it's get as far as I can get on it. Next up, my love-hate relationship with this one. And this is Country Cottage Needleworks Glitter Village. And this is where I'm at. I have finished house number 1. However, this is 32 count raw with, it's a opalescent raw. And it's very hard to see. So I'm, you know, having a hard time deciding whether or not I want to put this on 18 count opalescent raw. Or just continue to keep going with the 32 count. Did I show you where? Yes, I showed you where I was at. This is another one. A oldie but goodie. And this is Pride and Prejudice by Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts. And this is done on a 28 count even weave that I love. And this is where I am at. Now, this is the thing. I've made a mistake in here. And guys, I'm doing this 1/1. So to have to pick out 101 stitching on hand-dyed fabric, it like distorts the yellow. So I don't know if I want to ditch this and just start over again on 28 count hand dyed by me 2/2 or keep going. But I love the way the 1/1 looks, so I really don't want to ditch it. And I'm using the called for DMC. So this is the thing. If I pick this out, that means I have to pick this out because this is off. And then that means I'm going to have to pick this out because this is off. So I'm thinking I'm going to save this until the very end. I'm just going to fudge it now that I'm sitting here thinking. I'm going to fudge this and save this to the very end. And see what I can do. Because I really don't want to have to pick this out again. I've picked this out 3 times. And you can't see it. But I can see where it's distorted the fabric a little bit on here. And I just don't want to go through that again. Now, last but not least of the 14 is the one that is coming up to being a finish. And matter of fact, when I get finished on this video, I'm going to finish working on it so I can have it done by December 31st. And it is Christmas Sentiments by Stony Creek. I have finished all of the stitching and part of the beading. And I just have to finish the beading and put 2 of the treasures, the star treasures on top of the trees on there. And I will be done. So let me show you. Here it is. And I will show you up close where the beads. So I have to bead this and bead this down here, these circles. And then I will be complete. And the beading goes really fast. I was actually able to do this beading in a night. So I'm assuming I'll be able to get this done tonight. And then I can work on this. So that will be my 3rd finish. So those are 14 or 15 of the 18 projects that I will be working on. And let me see here. Christmas Sentiments, Song of the Season, Margaret Harris, Lantern Lane, All Woman, Winter Rose Manor are going to be part of my 9 finishes. And I have one other one that's going to be a finish as well, but it is part of my haul. So let me take a look at my notes and see where we are at. Okay, I don't have my notes. So now I believe we can go ahead and talk about the Year of WIPs. So the Year of WIPs is an event that I came up with because of the fact that I was taking a look at my situation and saying, you have too many projects. I probably have 150, 175 of these bags with WIP projects in them. And I plan on sometime next year, when I get the desire, to go through every single bag and pull out WIPs that no longer tickle my fantasy, or tickle my fancy, or and just go through them and see what I have, what I can fall in love with again. And I'm not going to trash them or get rid of them or anything like that. I'm just going to put the UFOs, if that's what you want to call them, in a bin, set them aside, and you know, throughout the years, just revisit them and see which ones might spark my interest again. Um, and so I created the year of WIPs because of that, because I had so many projects, and it's like you're adding to them, but you're not getting anything done. You're not getting any finishes. So, and I know that, cross stitch is supposed to be fun, no pressure, no sweat, and it's not for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have 175 bags, but it's not a big deal to me. And also, taking a look at my situation and saying, you got to do better. You're spending money on this stuff and you're not even getting any, producing any finishes. That doesn't create me any type of anxiety or bad feeling either. It's a reality. That I don't frame my finishes or anything like that. I put them in acid free bags, and yes, I put them in under the bed box. Maybe when we get our forever home, I might frame them, but for right now, I'm not framing anything. So, what I've decided as far as the year of WIPs for 2023 is, you have to create a number that you are comfortable with. The minimum has to be 6, though. You have to, in order to get into this event, you have to have 6 projects. And the number of projects you decide that are comfortable for you, by December 18th of 2023, you will have to have completed half of those projects. So if you pick 10, you have to have 5 completed, finished. And I'm not saying fully finished. No, you just have to have the stitching, the beading, the treasures done on the piece. It has to be completely stitched. And by December 18th of 2023. Let me see here. Let me see. Where did I put my sheet at? I am trying to find my notes because I don't want to miss something. I can't find it. I don't know what I did with it. Let me see here. So you have to create a number that you are comfortable with of WIPs. The minimum is 6. Whatever number you create, you have to stitch half of those by December 18th. And the only other extra thing that you have to do is, or 2 things, you have to join the Soulful Stitching group, because that's where it kicks off. And then you have to create a photo album in that group with your WIPs. You have to do a before picture, and then you have to do your after picture, because there's going to be a drawing at the end for a prize, a gift. And when I do the drawing, I have to go back and I have to look through those photo albums to make sure that you have all the pictures for your WIPs. And in the title of your WIPs, you have to give me the number of WIPs that you chose. So you could put Melanie Watkins 18 WIPs, so that I know in my mind, okay, I'm looking for 9 finishes for her. 18 WIPs, but I'm looking for 9 finishes. And yes, I do check. I give myself time to go through every photo album to make sure that, people are following, because it would be unfair for a person to win and they didn't follow. But Susie over here followed all the expectations. So I do check. What else? I think that's it. I didn't want to start this event off by being too high maintenance or the expectations being unrealistic and just super challenging, because first of all, we all have personal lives, we all have other stitchy goals. So I wanted it to be a generic event that you could fit in with other goals. You can do this with WIP Go. You can do this with the monthly magazine challenge. You can do this with other ones. Um, and I believe that's it. I believe that is all for the year of WIPs. I know you guys maybe were expecting some long drawn out, event, but no, that's pretty much the gist of it. You have to create a number that you're comfortable with. You have to complete half of those by December 18th. The event kicks off January 18th. So January 18th to December 18th. And then you have to create a photo album with all of your WIPs. And in the title of your photo album, I need the number of how many WIPs, that you have chosen. And that'll be it. And then, when we close out the year, I will go back through, scroll through the photo albums, make sure people have done what they're supposed to, and then I will do the drawing for a gift. And I haven't decided what that's going to be yet, so that's why I keep saying a gift. So now let's get into the haul portion of my video. I know there's quite a few people who don't enjoy haul or stash acquisition or enhancement. So, if that's not your thing, thank you so much for tuning in. And, I'll see you in the next video. But if you want to see the haul, let's go. So first up, what I have gotten is Rosewood Manor, and it's called Blue Rhapsody. And I decided to do a silk pack by Vicky Clayton, and this is the color that I decided to do it in. When I looked at her website, this actually is true to color, but for some reason I was thinking this was a little bit darker than what it is. So I don't know, I may go back and get 6 spools of something a little darker. But this is, the color that I've gotten for right now. So that was Blue Rhapsody. Next. Now, this is one of the 18 projects, and this also is going to be one of the 9 finishes. And this is called Jane Eyre. I Am No Bird. A Charlotte Bronte sampler. And I am doing this on 56 count paper bark by Fox and Rabbit. And I am doing this with black Tudor silk. Yeah. I have 5 packages. Hopefully that'll be enough of the Tudor silk. And I got some size 10 beading needles for the 56 count. And that came from the attic. Next, I got the book, and I've had this for a minute, Red Letter Day by Kitten Stitcher, Teresa Vinette. And the project that I'm going to do out of this one is called Emma Loper 1849. And this is what this looks like. I am also doing that on 56 count paper bark by Fox and Rabbit that came from the attic. And I am also doing this with a Tudor silk in the color Cabernet. Okay. Next. Now, these are, oh, and then I got some 18 count country vintage mocha. And then I also purchased Jane Eyre through Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts, the Stitching Book Club. I'm going to do that one. And I'm using the call for DMC. Okay. Now, next up is the things that I purchased or my wife purchased for me for Christmas. So, I picked them out, but okay, come on. All right. So, this is called Seasonal Bell Jars. And this is by the Tidy Modernist. And I don't think I ordered enough fabric. I just got one piece, which is gray linen. And it is 28 count. So I'm assuming you do each jar on a piece of this. So I have to go back and get 3 more pieces. And I'm using the call for DMC. Okay. Next. This is a part of the 18 WIPs for the year of WIPs. And this will be started by January 18th, so it'll be considered a WIP. And this is called Orchard Valley Quilting Bee by Little House Needleworks. If you notice, there's a theme to my projects, which is Little House Needleworks, Country Cottage, because those are my favorite designers. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to change it to Women of Color. And I'm using the called for DMC. And I'm going to do that on the 18 count country vintage mocha. Next up, another one that I got for Christmas, which I've had the chart for a while. I just kitted it up for Christmas, which is Seasons of the Heart. And I'm doing the winter project. And I'm using the call for Weeks Dye Works. And I'm doing it on a piece of 40 count country mocha Newcastle linen, which I only got when you order it through 123, they kit up the seasons individually, and I really wanted to stitch them. I really want to stitch them all together on a big piece of fabric, so I don't know if I'm going to use that country vintage mocha or not. Next, this is called Eggs All Around, and this is by Glendon Place. And I got all of the DMC, Krennic, and beads. And I even got the fabric that it comes on. And this is 28 count chrysalis cashel linen. And it's like a light pretty green. And here's all the beads. And the Krennic. There's just one that I have to order. And I'm also not sure if I want to use this. I might take this to my local needlework shop and actually pick out the petite treasure braid colors for this. Because this is pretty difficult to work with. You know, if you use shorter strands, it's not that it's really not that bad. So I may just stick with it. I already bought it, But, when you're stitching big projects, you're really not looking to make things difficult. You're looking to, ease your way through it. Now, the last one, which is going to be the 18th project for the Year of WIPs, is the Noel Sampler by Brenda Gervais, or With Thy Needle and Thread. Excuse me. Brenda Gervais, yep. And I'm just using all of the called for DMC. I kitted it up at Hobby House Needleworks. And then the last thing that I got was some DMC Flosh. And DMC Flosh is awesome. It's equivalent to 1.5 threads of the regular DMC. And I'm going to use this on Snow Village and a lot of the projects that have a lot of white in it. I'm going to use this and see how I like it. But I've stitched with it before because I have some Flosh already kitted up in other projects. So I've used it before and it's coming out great on those projects. But I want to see how it does on Ada and see if I like it or not. So, and then the last one, and this, I'm sorry, I forgot to show you a WIP. So this is the 18th WIP, which is going to be Santa's Village, and I'm working on Poinsettia Place. And I'm doing this on a 28 count Country Vintage Mocha. As you can see, I finished Village Cottage 1 or House 1, which was Santa's Village, Santa's house. And now I'm working on the second one, which is Poinsettia Place. And again, this is not one that's aimed for a finish. This is just get as far as you can get. And that's pretty much it. That's all of my haul. That's all of everything. So you guys have a wonderful day. I hope you had a Merry Christmas, and I hope you have a Happy New Year, and we'll talk again. Have a great day. Bye-bye.